What's good, YouTube? It's me, Coach 67 Sports TV. Shout out to the awesome and amazing LDBC, Lions Den Boston community. Shout out to the greatest university in the world, the Southern University, home of the mighty Jaguars. In this particular video, I'm going to talk about the transfer portal. Now, the second wave of the transfer portal, we've entered into it, and it's going to close in like the next week and a half. However, there's been a lot of individuals from SWAC schools entering the transfer portal. For example, recently, former Jackson State running back Sylvian Wilkerson, he entered the transfer portal. Now, many individuals think that he's going to join Coach Prime at the University of Colorado, become a Buffalo. Now, that's just speculation. Certain individuals, they assuming this, but there's no guarantee that he ends up in Colorado. He may end up in another landing spot. We'll see how things play out. In addition to that, recently, Alabama State running back Ja'Cory Merritt, he also entered the transfer portal. So it's going to be interesting to see where they land. And the crazy thing about this entire situation is, seems as if in terms of all the position groups that's entering the transfer portal from the SWAC, it seems like running backs more than any other position is entering the transfer portal. So I don't know what that means or what's that saying about running backs in the SWAC. However, a rash of running backs in the SWAC have entered the transfer portal for whatever reason. So it's kind of interesting, how that dynamic is playing out and how to play out moving forward. Hopefully it doesn't drastically reduce the quality of running back play in the SWAC. But it just kind of remains to be seen, how things play out. Now, the next portion of this transfer portal video, I'm going to talk about Southern University defensive lineman. Now, in this video, I basically was supposed to break down the defensive line position entering into the fall 23 season for the Southern University Jaguars. Now, in the recent Blue versus Gold spring game, the two defensive linemen that had the biggest impact was first Kelby Givens. He had the biggest impact in my opinion. He was wreaking havoc. He was a disruptor. He was causing constant pressure, and he got a lot of heat on Harold Blood and Dylan Marotra and Noah Biden. So, he had a real impact on the Southern University defensive line. Now, the other person that had the second biggest impact was Trey Laing. Now, Trey Laing was entering his second season at Southern University from East Mississippi Junior College. He had one sack that I could remember, but outside of Givens, he had the second biggest impact for Southern University in terms of pass rush during the Blue versus Gold spring game. The bad news is Trey Laing is entering the transfer portal also. So, how is this going to affect Southern University defensive line? For the exception of Kelby Givens, he was a major impact player in the Blue versus Gold spring game from a defensive line perspective. Like I said, Trey Laing had the second biggest impact, but the fact that Trey Laing is entering into the transfer portal, it kind of leaves me scratching my head both figuratively and literally. So it's going to be interesting to see how Southern University fills that void, because it seems as if during the course of the Blue versus Gold spring game that he can fill the Jordan Lewis spot in terms of being like a hybrid linebacker, defensive end that can get, a good pass rush. Now, of course, he's not a huge defensive lineman. He's kind of like that hybrid linebacker, defensive end type. I don't think he's purely a defensive end. I don't think he's purely a linebacker. I think he's kind of like a hybrid of the two. So, in one of my videos talking about Southern University defensive line, basically, I was talking about how it's going to be difficult to replace Jason Dumas and Jordan Lewis and Taj Brown, who was the only defensive lineman of the group that made, all SWAC. of course, Taj Brown, he fed off of Jordan Lewis and Jason Dumas. But, the fact that, Trey Laing seemed like he was going to be capable of filling the Jordan Lewis role, now it's going to be interesting to see, you know, if Southern has another defensive lineman that can fill the Trey Laing role, would have been the Trey Laing role. Now, moving forward, the good thing about it is, even though Southern lost Trey Laing in the transfer portal, Southern also gained a new linebacker. His name is Marcus Cunningham. He's from Portland, Oregon, and he's transferring from Butler Community College. So it's going to be interesting to see how, Southern defense does moving forward, because really outside of Givens and Lang in the Blue versus Gold Spring game, it wasn't, a whole lot, kind of to be moved by. Like I said, Givens, he had the biggest impact in terms of the linebacking core. Linebackers, they were decent, they were good, but not great. And the same thing could be said for the secondary. The secondary, they made plays in terms of getting interceptions, but they also gave up a lot of big plays. So in terms of Southern defense, it was a question mark. It was kind of hit or miss. So it's going to just be interesting to see, how Southern defense does moving forward. And the ironic thing about the whole transfer portal situation is, there's been speculation recently that Southern linebacker Jason Greathouse, that he could potentially enter the transfer portal in the next few days. So if he does, I wish him well in his future endeavors. But hopefully he stays and he can help Southern defense this coming fall. So that's it for this video. If you saw any value in this video, like the video, share the video, comment in the comment section, subscribe to the channel. Also, click the notification bell so you can be alerted anytime I post any new videos. If you have any topics that you want suggest in terms of Southern University football, now, past, whatever the case may be, just drop it in the comment section. Also, check out myself and my brother, Jared 11 Green, on his channel, as we have our show Southern Ballers Talk. In addition to that, at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time on Saturdays, we have my podcast, Bayou Sports Talk. So check us out on my brother's channel for the Southern Baller Show, and here on my channel, Saturdays, 2 p.m. Central Standard Time, for Bayou Sports Talk. Y'all have a blessed and phenomenal evening. I'll catch y'all on the rebound. Peace and blessings.